sure you keep up with all the new content on Gaming for XP. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll let you know once we've uploaded anything that's new. See ya! Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the final video at Cuttlers Bend. We started this back in early March with Proton Rad's actual challenge started back in October last year. I started the build, or actually started uploading build videos on the 7th of March, and it's taken us 3 months of building. I've actually been building at the settlement since late December, early January, so it's almost been a 6-month project. And of course, some of the rules were that we build at Cuttlers Bend. Proton says his style's a little bit scrappy, and so if we could do scrappy, that would be good. And that's what I decided to go with for this settlement. I decided to challenge myself and see how scrappy we could get. So here's where we started, guys. We started with absolutely nothing. Because it's the first time I'd ever used Workshop Anywhere mod, I was limited what I could scrap, and I think that's actually been a very, very positive thing for me. So let me take you on the final tour of Cuttlers Bend. Thanks for supporting the series. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of comments, a lot of likes, a lot of views, and finally we're finished. So this will take a little while to get round. There is a lot to see, and I hope you enjoy this. And so let's get started. So you would have seen the intro. It has changed a bit, and we started with this building up top, and my idea was that it was like a railway siding building or some kind of building that was associated with a railroad. Obviously we've put a fence around this, and I really wanted this to be a small settlement that people had just grabbed a whole lot of stuff they'd found out in the wasteland, thrown them together as a defensive mechanism for the settlement. And it is a dangerous area. If you've ever been to Cuttlers Bend, Gunners Plaza is across the road, and there's people trying to constantly attack. So we needed a very, very secure settlement here at Cuttlers Bend, and so we've put a fair bit of defence into the front of the settlement and around the perimeters. You can see Gunners Plaza across there, and there was a whole lot of different ways that I built here. The influencer under the bridge here had been it was kind of something that I looked at. This is really one of the truck shack idea. There were some cars and whatnot underneath the bridge, and so I've used that as the starting base for the foundation of this little shack here. You can see the railway carriage wheels still sticking through the wall there. Couldn't remove those, so I left them there and built around the pieces that are kind of existing. Same as the car that this started on. You can see the top of the roof there at the right hand side. And the influence for building under here was, I've travelled a lot in my life. I've seen a lot of people living under bridges and overpasses and stuff like that, and so it sparked something as an idea. Obviously, as I said before, I was using Workshop Anywhere, so I needed to find somewhere to put it. So we made this little shack here and put the workshop in here, like a little maintenance shack that the person lives in. And you can see there is lots and lots and lots of detail. Now originally I wanted to put some stuff in here, but because of the angle of this, the pieces would not sit in there, so put a little ladder up there, but I really found out that I couldn't really do much with it. Built this little hut quite late in the day, but using the grounded mod and a few bits and pieces. Custom furniture is a big thing in the settlement, as you'll see, and I really tried to challenge to see how scrappy and minimal we could go, and this is probably the pinnacle of minimal and scrappy. Obviously there's a lot of train carriages around, and so I've used them a bit in the settlement because it kind of is on theme. Also spent a lot of time before I started building having a look around this area, and you can see there's little things like this where the couch is actually sitting inside a little recess in the rocks. These are very tight buildings, a lot of these, but I kind of like the overall look that we've come up with here. Now there are a few parts that are still unfinished. As I've done this tour, I've noticed there's a few things that I've still got to address here, but it's such a big area and there's so many things going on that yeah, I have missed a couple of things, and you'll see what they are once we go round. So there was a story that I wanted to put down, that this was kind of a cul-de-sac at the end of the road, and so it would make sense that there was a drumlin diner here. And so I'd never built a drumlin diner using the mods from the master plan. So as you can see, the table's missing there, and that's due to thematic and practical mod being missing from a load order. But I'd never done a drumlin diner before, so the first thing to do was build a drumlin diner, and then the second thing was I wanted to make it into a kind of staging point for the people who are defending this settlement. So you can see, looks like a drumlin diner, and then suddenly there's a whole lot of military things being stored in here. I apologise if you can hear a little bit of a noise in the microphone. It is a little bit chilly in Sydney tonight, so I have got the heater on, so hopefully the noise is not too annoying for you. With any settlement that you build, you've got to put in so much detail to sell it. You know, there's lots of ammunition lying around. Now, here's some stuff I started experimenting with. Rather than have a desk, I used a steamer trunk in here. The design of the door is a bit how you going, but never mind. And obviously this is the commander's residence, and I've kept it very minimal and very military kind of regimented. So yeah, used the desk, steamer trunk for the desk and whatnot. And it's a fun little thing to try. You can see the door design. I can't get at, gotta go to the other side. There we go. It's a fun thing to try, is to try and come up with ideas for furniture. Now that's where we're going to go. We'll go up top here. So you can see there was a truck there. I've left it in, and I've actually made it into a little defensive area. So I've put some crates and a little defensive position. So you can see up over the hedge there, and you can see up onto what has become known as the favela. And again, there's lots of vantage points, defensive vantage points in the settlement, so that if anybody gets in, there's plenty of places where they can be sorted out from. Okay. Another mod that we used, new mod that we used as part of this building, was military fortifications, or military sandbags. I can't remember the exact name. And you can see these little tents and whatnot. Fantastic. It took me a while to figure out what one actually worked on the roof there. And even down below, and you'll see that a lot in the settlement, there's lots of little areas that I have done that probably you would normally ignore, but I have spent a little bit of time. And you can see there's a little secret area down under here. And there's a bed in a car, little fire for sitting around, and it's pretty secure in here. There's a nice roof and whatnot in there. Yep, there we go. Now I've only just started using Dead Wasteland, and you can see there's lots of little elements there that I've used. Built this little entranceway at the back end of the settlement, and I kind of like it. I like the way it looks. Again, very kind of mishmash junky fence that it's got on it, and a military stop point, checkpoint, whatever you want to call it. Dead wasteland. You can see there's a combination of things, and this is what I like to do. This is a little utility shed that I put in. You haven't seen this being built, but I just felt this area needed something, and so there's lots of kind of pieces of debris that I've added, and lots of little pieces just to help sell it. Now we switched it was getting a little bit late. This was the last build I did, and it's a little barber shop and a little workshop area that we put in, and these little dwellings here. And I don't think I could get much scrappier than we've done in this build. Although we will see through the survivalist challenge just how scrappy we can get. And I can tell you some of the entries I've seen already are right on point. So these are the last couple of builds that we've done. We just had to fill in this corner. I wasn't happy that this corner was a bit empty, and the other side of the settlement was kind of very full of very full of buildings. We'll hop up the ladders now. And this is just a kind of transition area, kind of defensive area for people just to keep watch and move between parts of the settlement. There you go. I love these little areas that I've put in during this build, and I'll show you one in a minute, sorry. And you can see there's lots of vantage points around the place. Probably could have done a little bit more with this particular area, but like I said, it's you have to kind of figure out when a settlement is done or when you feel it's done, and I've called it now. It's definitely done. And yeah, these little areas like this, and you can see you don't have to build a huge house or shack or anything. This is as simple as it needs to be. You see, obviously it's military. There's everything you would need. You know, you got canopy or a tent and a bed and all your little knickknacks. So onto the luxury apartments. Couple of railroad cars that we've put in. Dividing wall in between them. Little kitchen and a bedroom. I tried to make them similar but different, but these are about as posh as it gets in this settlement. And on to luxury apartment number 2. No real kitchen in here. And it's amazing when you look at this or you go through and do a tour like this, just how many items a settlement like this must have. It is huge. Lots of little details, but many items. So I used the grounded mod here, and I built this hill up. You can see these this painted toilet design. We'll just have a look at the luxury apartments one more time. But this area was all I had to build up with the grounded mod and then some roofs and whatnot. And again, you know, open air living. Shack it up, junk it up, make it really bare minimum, and try and a whole lot of little ideas. And that's what I really have a lot of fun with, is trying little ideas. And I'll show you another one in a second, in this room here, where the table is actually the ironing board. And again, making my own beds, my own furniture. Now, mixing up the walls you're using. Even when you put a wall in, junking up the wall even more. Different textures, there's wood, there's metal, there's all kinds of stuff going on. You can have a little peek onto the river there if you want to. And this is probably the biggest one, or the best apartment in this group. But again, you know, if next door can look straight into your apartment, there's not a lot of privacy. This was a door that I used, a doorway that I used some railings on. And then there's a little meeting room in here, a little area to sit and have a yawn. Now, I did have some beds in here from Thematic and Practical, and obviously that mod has gone now, so the beds are missing. But you know, there's room in there for having a little room, couple of rooms in there. So that's pretty much it for this side of the settlement. We'll run down and along. I'm taking my time just so you can kind of absorb all the details in the settlement. And we'll go back across to what we named the favela. In the favela, even now, I get lost. There are so many ways you can go. Hopefully this tour does give you some ideas ahead, some things that you can use in your own settlements, or it might tweak something that you go, oh, I could do this. So, little shop where you can buy your fish. Go up the stairs. Now, I put this kind of thing in here, which was the posts, beams and supports mod. You can put these little buildings in without them actually having any function, just to complete the overall look. So there's several new mods that I used during this build, and that wasn't intentional. It's just the way things happened. Had a little house here next to the bar. And again, varying the style of walls up, the colours and whatnot. And so welcome to Cutler's Bend bar or public house, or we should really give it a name, shouldn't we? You can leave suggestions in the comments down below. And I'm so glad that Proton Rads threw this challenge at me. It was something that has really made me kind of do a whole lot of different things that I've never tried before. In my builds, and I think if you can do this kind of stuff and really challenge yourself, you will become a better builder for it. We have a little area here, and again this probably needs a bit more decoration, but you know, you can come out here and have a cigarette and drink a beer or drink a cocktail or whatever. You can come downstairs, and there's a little sitting area down here as well. And again, I didn't spend a lot of time decorating. I could have, but here we go. Across the river. Beautiful little area to just relax and kick back and talk about your day. Here we go. So yes, I know this is still unfinished in here. And this build here, I was watching Jabico Death doing a playthrough on his channel of Fallout 4, and it sparked an idea. And in fact, this sparked a complete video. And the idea was just like that this building was part of the bar, but it was still in progress. It's like a building site area or construction site area. And you can see there's so many levels here. It's and so much to see. Little sitting room in here, and a little bedroom on the other side. Just a different way to use these train carriages if you want to. And again, you can see the breeze blocks. That was a new mod that I downloaded and started using. Yeah, I know the carpet's sticking through there, don't hate me. And so there's lots of these little living areas scattered around the settlement. Another one underneath here. And just trying to utilise every bit of the space. And you can see that's the bottom of the bar there. You can actually see the seats there. You can have a swing if you like, if you're got nothing to do. We built a little church here, and again kept it very minimal. I don't think it would be, you know, a huge looking church in a settlement like this, but it's somewhere for people to meet and worship and do whatever they want to do. Okay, so now I've got to remember the way I find my way kind of up to the next level. There's so many levels, and I love that about this settlement of Ruido. Here's another one of these buildings that really doesn't serve much purpose. You could use it, but anyway. A little area for sleeping, just a little prefab hut or a end cap hut, which I've showed you how to do that in the Sunshine Tidings settlement, which the tour for that, fixing up the Commonwealth, will be up fairly shortly, and then we'll get started on a new settlement for fixing up the Commonwealth, which will replace Cutler's Bend build. Another little area, and again I built my own kind of platforms, ladders and plywood and all kinds of stuff. Again, little defensive area, keeps an eye on the road there. A lot of this stuff is custom built, beds and platforms and all kinds of stuff. And these people here either sleep on the lounge or they sleep on the rug there with a pillow. That's it. And now we're getting to the final area of the settlement, which is up the top here. And this was the kind of first part we built, these pillars and this building above us. Here we go, we have a little guard post that gives you a pretty good view across Gunners Plaza, along the railway line, and also back onto the river. Gotta be careful, lots of little dwellings here. So if you enjoy scrappy builds, this is probably a good reference point for you. One of the big things though when you're doing a settlement like this is to try and get everything to flow and work. So that's one thing I do focus on. I talk a bit about the flow of the settlement, and it did take me a long time to get all this stuff linked together and make sure that it worked pretty well. And so, you know, this was supposedly a small settlement, but boy oh boy, it just kind of grew a life of its own, and you can see there's still room to continue building here, but and adding more and more stuff. Luckily, Workshop Anywhere has a fairly big build limit associated with it. So here we go, we have all our armories and stuff well up the top and well guarded. It would be hard for a raider to get up here. They have to traverse a huge area and a huge number of places before they would be able to get up here, which is what I kind of had intended. And this is still work in progress for the settlers. They've built a couple of shops here, but they haven't actually stocked them yet. And there's a sniper's perch there, a little chem lab. And finally our workshop. So there you go, guys. Cutler's Bend is done and dusted. This is episode number 16. That's all 15 build videos that has taken over 3 months, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I sort of had an idea in my head of how I wanted it to be, or what the kind of background of it was, and it's worked out perfectly for what I had envisaged. I hope you've enjoyed this as well. I hope you've enjoyed the tour, and thanks for supporting me. And we'll see you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya!